Hello everybody, welcome to my very first video blog. Um, Basically, I'm going to be covering the subject of multiracial, multinational relationships or marriages, whatever the case is for you. Um, Marriages are hard for everybody, regardless to if you are the same race, the same nationality. It's going to be hard. You're going to have fights. You're going to have arguments. You're going to have disagreements. For people who have multiracial, multinational marriages or relationships, they face a different sort of variables, different issues. Um, some of the big ones are going to be language. Even some of the most fluent people, my husband's pretty fluent in English, will still have arguments based on me saying something and misinterpreting, which goes along with misunderstanding. We're also going to have cultural barriers and differences. Been married for 3 years and there's still something new. Um, and of course, you have social acceptance, which not necessarily my situation, but I've seen it happen. Parents didn't want their child to be married to somebody of a different race. Japanese, American parents, didn't matter. And there's generally a lack of tolerance towards another person's culture, and Americans were the biggest offenders. We don't mean to be, but it's part of American culture. We take everything with a grain of salt. You don't take anything too personally. You're going to get your feelings hurt. We learned that pretty early on in life. I'm in the US Navy, so I learned it pretty fast. Japanese people, they tend to take everything personally, whether you mean it to be or not. They also are the fastest, easiest to get offended in a relationship. Small things you say, they analyze, and they take it a little bit more seriously than what you actually meant. So break it down. Some of the things that I've noticed being married. I've noticed that on a day-to-day life, not professionally, but in our casual situations, in our casual environments, we tend to be less sensitive towards other people's cultures. And, we're awful with, America, and, this is America, we do American culture, but when you think about it, America's a melting pot. We don't really have one specific culture. There's cultures flooding. So we do have to learn to be more tolerant and to watch what we say. I know in business situations or at work, you do tend to police yourself a little bit better. Japanese people, on the other hand, are very polite. Normally, they try to remain relatively very sensitive, actually, to one another's culture, to foreigners' cultures. They try not to offend anybody by what they say. And Americans, we don't seem to have too much of a brain to mouth filter, whereas everything a Japanese person says, generally speaking, goes through several filters. Americans are more laid back on a casual note. Casually, we normally say where it's like, don't sweat the small stuff, you miss a bill, we'll just pay the late fee, whatever. It's not a big issue. You don't cry over spilt milk. Tomorrow is another day. These things will work out. These things work themselves out. It'll be okay in the end. we say things like that because we don't see the point in upsetting ourselves over something that we can't really change or it's too late to change. Japanese people, not everybody, again, I'm only generalizing based on the people that I know. What I understand is they generally sweat the small stuff. You miss one payment, that means you're going to have this negative review on your credit report, and that means you're going to have that on for 7 years, and then that's going to drop your credit, and now you can't buy a house because of that one missed payment. They take things and analyze them to no end, and it makes my head spin. Like how do you analyze that to that degree? I should be able to do that, but I don't normally worry too much about it. Um, Also, again, Japanese people are very polite, and that doesn't end on a business level, and it doesn't end on a acquaintance level. It stays there, regardless if you guys are best friends, regardless if you're in an intimate relationship with a wife or a boyfriend or whatever. Americans, we often either forget to or we just don't anymore. We don't say things like sorry or please, you're welcome, thank you, unless it's a big favor. I mean, if I'm asking for somebody's car, I'll say, may I please borrow your car? That's a big thing, but if I say, hey, can you pass me the highlighter, I'm not going to say please. But Japanese people, they keep that politeness even in their intimate relationships, which I wasn't aware of. When I cook dinner, although it's nice to be appreciated, I don't actually expect a thank you. Or if I'm upset, I don't actually expect a sorry. You know, it's, oh, my bad. Or, no, you're right. But I never expect the actual words, I'm sorry. Japanese, my husband at least, does expect that. I didn't know that, and that was caused a few arguments, disagreements. So it's a culture shock. Regardless to how well you think you know the culture, there's always going to be something new. And how you're able to roll with that, how we're able to take a step back, analyze, not to get overwhelmed or flustered. You're in an argument and you're arguing, and you don't even really know what you're arguing about because you said something and he took it differently and that's not what you actually meant. Now you need to step back and try to reevaluate, re-articulate what you actually meant. And that's one of the biggest challenges. There's no real clear answer because particularly with Japanese and American cultures, there's not a whole lot of mixture, especially towards American women with Japanese men. It's a little bit different than American men with Japanese women. The culture is a bit different, what the expectations are a bit different. I think it's important for those of us in this particular sort of relationship that we should network, communicate with one another, share experiences, help each other through situations because nobody really wants to get divorced. I mean, you love that person at some point enough to marry them and share your entire life, so it's got to be worth keeping, and it's not something you should throw away because of a simple disagreement or an argument that can be fixed else in another way. And I know some of us have had lots of success doing that. I'm so far successful, and I like to remain that way, and I know a lot of you also would. I would love it if you left your comments, left an email. I'm uploading other people's videos, so if you wanted to upload a video, please just email it to me. If you want to upload your personal story and pictures, email it to me. I will get it up. I love to hear from the rest of you. I love to also take in your advice. we're a minority. We have to support each other. I know this is the best relationship I've ever had. Obviously, it's why I'm still in it. And I'm sure a lot of you also feel that way. Please just email me, watch each other's videos. Please leave comments. Thank you for visiting my blog.